Help Save Our World Speak, number 76. Mastering Your States of Consciousness continued. This is to make sure that you master your states of consciousness, your life skills that will improve your life and your states of consciousness are critically important. So I'm just sort of as briefly as possible, without really discussing any of them, I'm just going to go through a whole sort of list of them really. So hello and welcome to our 76th Help Save Our World Speak online speakers meeting, where we are changing the conversation to change our world. I'm Dennis Moore, your host for today's 1-hour meeting. I am here to guide you on your life and world transforming journey with this conversation based on my book, Beyond the Age of Ignorance, The Quest for the Truth, Change, and Transformation. The underlying purpose of this book and these meetings is to empower you to change your life and help save our world through the process. Let's start with introductions. Alex?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm based here in South Africa. My purpose here is to obviously help change the world, help save the world, help save Mother Nature, bring about peace, love, and connectivity amongst the humans on the planet.
Thank you so much, Alex. Brendan?
My name is Brendan. I'm from South Africa. My objective within this group and the world around us is to help build sustainable eco-villages, as well as show people what life can be like without huge government organizations and without relying on anyone, and working hand in hand with Mother Nature.
Excellent, Brendan. Thank you. So let's continue. Life skills that improve your life and states of consciousness. Just before I do that, I just want to throw in one more idea on living in a vibrational energy flowing information, conscious, creative universe. If you could not understand the concept of living in love, balance, and harmony with the flow of Mother Nature, imagine that information which is flowing in patterns of vibrations with the conscious desire of the eternal, creative, nurturing feminine, creating and nurturing life, complex patterns of information's energy, and the perpetuation of life as the nature of the creation of everything within our universe. That desire to live life and to perpetuate life is our primary purpose in life. We choose to live life and to procreate to ensure that life goes on. There are many other lessons and experiences and reasons of life which we have discussed. But the fundamental principle of life and being a human being is based on vibrating in tune with and in love, balance, and harmony with that creative vibrating flow of Mother Nature. And that is the flow that's all around us, and being one with it, being one with the forest, being one with the sounds, being one with the energy flow, one with the flow of light, one with Mother Nature. I don't know if that helps. Anyway, we ended last week halfway through the topic, ways to live your best life. Living your life based on our love-based values and beliefs and principles. Live positively, always choose love over fear. That's like the baseline. But then there's like just ways in which you can be. So my default setting is I can do it. Choose I can over I can't, or any excuse or reason why you can't. Just say, yeah, okay, I'll do it. Just do it, as Nike's big advert is. Use the 5-second rule, that rule which a lady spoke about on TED Talks. Just in that first 5 seconds, Just motivate yourself to start moving in that direction. Because if you don't start, that thought will pass you by and you won't do it. Worry less and do more. A lesson that I learned from my art teacher, Mr. Gearbart, when I was in Standard 8. Worry less and do more, Dennis. Don't waste your time and energy on excuses and creating drama, doubting, and the if this and if that. Forget the effing. Just go for it and do it. Focus on doing and getting things done, and everything will be okay. You know, if you just do it, everything just turns out the best way possible. But if you're caught up in self-doubt and all of the negative things, what happens is life builds up and becomes a problem. Don't let that happen. Just focus on doing it and getting things done, and everything will be all right. Make a plan. Plant the seeds in your mind. Think about it. Come up with the thoughts. Choose which one you want to do. Focus on it. Practice doing it and manifest into the being that you want to become. Live mindfully and live carefully. Take care with yourself, others, and nature, and everything you own, of course. You know, if you just like leave your tools lying around and you just put things down everywhere and you leave them to rust and whatever, it's really important that you take care with the things that help you and make your life easier. And everything you own and use in your life, everything you use to make your life easier, especially your tools and your clothes and so on. Carelessness costs. Remember that. Carelessness costs you. The more care you take, the longer things will last. The less you will have to work to make the money to live your life and to replace those things. And of course, that means that you'll be less enslaved to the system, and the less of an impact you will have on the environment if you're not just buying more and buying more because you've lost or broken or whatever. Although I say live carefully, never live too carefully, being too scared to try something, and be willing to make mistakes, because it's only in making those mistakes that you learn. However, if you do not learn from your mistakes, that is a problem. The more you mess up, the more you have to fix up at greater cost to you and to others around you. Then have a backup plan and always have reserves stashed away. You can exist your life on empty, always anxious, stressed, and fearful, or you can accumulate a buffer of some extra reserves to help you through the lean times. This does not imply excessive wealth, like where you just accumulate at the expense of everyone in the environment around you. If you're constantly investing time and energy into growing living systems around you, that will or can be your buffer. And I would say that that's the most amazing buffer, because nature multiplies whatever you put into it. Save seeds and be constantly planting more. Life multiplies what you put into it. Anyone want to comment on that? Brendan?
Brendan's had to step out. Absolutely. I mean, you need to make sure that you're safe and secure. You never know when you're going to need the extra assistance, the extra bit of support that may or not be there. If you haven't prepared for it. With the whole can-do attitude, absolutely be that person that doesn't just sit by and just let things happen. Get up and go and do them. If you have a thought and you think it's a good thought, get up and go do it. There's nothing worse than being in a room and you see the woman or the man of your dreams standing on the other side of the bar or restaurant, and you've got 5 seconds between that choice to get up and actually go and speak to her, or not. And if you don't, you might have lost a huge opportunity to meet someone great. But also know where your limits are, and also allow other people to do things for you in certain situations, not to take advantage, but also allow to let go and to receive energy. I mean, it's always great giving, 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 but you need to know when it's time to receive, when you need to sit back and allow others to do things for you.
I agree with that. It's really, that's like one of the fundamentals. That's like balance of life. We live in a giving and receiving universe. Sometimes for givers, it's really, really hard to accept receiving, and that should never be the case. To accept graciously and with appreciation, that's so important to actually master that skill as well. All right, so we'll carry on. The housekeeping of life. Always clean up and put things away and secure them so they will be readily available for you to use when you need them the next time. And everyone else will know exactly where to go to find them. It's like such an important thing. Being careless and just leaving stuff lying around costs you a lot of time and energy. If you're constantly stepping over things, avoiding everything, and sort of digging through huge piles of disorganized things every time you need something, carelessness costs you and everyone around you so much more time and energy. So take the time to clean up and organize things immediately after you've used them. So one of my big things is working tidily. I'm working and then I stop for a few seconds just to put everything away, or just wipe all the oil off everything. Or while I'm cooking, I'm washing dishes at the same time. So I get to the end of cooking and I've got nothing more to do. Remember, a tidy environment leads to a tidy mind and consciousness. We only have a certain amount of energy and attention to use every day. So why waste it on being disorganized? And you leave things lying around, and every time you walk past it, it draws your attention and you say, oh, I must pick that up, or I must put that away. But then you go on and you see something else that's lying, and you keep on doing that. And by the time you've got to the other side of the room, you've wasted so much energy. And then you'll walk through that room maybe 50 times, and every time you'll do that same thing again. And you literally wear yourself out in a disorganized environment. So practice the housekeeping of life and live your life with ease and get much more done with much less effort, anxiety, and stress. Tidiness reduces stress, anxiety, and fatigue, allowing you to flow with ease. I was outside next to Brendan's car. I was fixing something on his car, and I emptied out all of the little bottles and everything of washers and screws because I was looking for a special type of nut. And I just took that moment to tidy everything up. And it wasn't like, 20 minutes later, we were taking Brennan's steering wheel off, and we needed a certain washer. And I had just spent time tidying that up, and I went straight to the right bottle, and I took out exactly the right washer and put it on his steering wheel, and it was perfect. And that is the preciousness of being organized. So put screws with screws, washers with washers, nuts and bolts of each size together. So when you need them, you know exactly where to find what you need without having to search for hours to find them, or having to buy new ones and end up with so much more junk around you. You don't need all that extra stuff. So that brings me to hoarding. Hoarding will destroy your life, cost you all of your precious time and energy and money. So with clothes, get rid of clothes with bad emotional memories. Often we have things that have these emotional sadness or whatever, memory of somebody lost or passed on or whatever. If you get rid of those, give them to somebody else who doesn't have those emotional connections, and they will benefit from those clothes. But every time you see those clothes, you're going to suffer. So why suffer? Only keep what you use. And then, of course, sort your closet out into seasons. I've got, basically there's really two seasons here. There's summer and winter, so all my winter clothes, the heavier clothes are on one side of my cupboard and all of my summer clothes are on the other side of the cupboard. So sort out your most used clothing in the most accessible place. It's like socks and underpants are going to be just right there where I can get to them the quickest. And then fold and roll and organize your clothes to take up less space and to be easily accessible. And especially when you're traveling, folding and rolling, you get so much more into your carry-on bag or into your bags. So make all your have-tos easy so that you get to have time for your want-tos and your get-tos. And then the next one is done is done. If you do something to its completion so that you feel satisfied that you've done the job well, anything 90% done is not done. If you feel like a discomfort that something's not done, don't stop until you're finished. Done is not done. And you'll waste your energy worrying about it. Although done is not perfect, but good enough. Good enough is not just anything will do and carelessness, because that can be the other extreme. Done is done when the task you have set yourself to do is complete within you. Like if you feel that, okay, I'm now completed this, and justifiably so, then that's it, that's done. And then always stand back and look around you. When you think something is done, just to check, dishes washed, dried, packed away, counters and tables cleaned and floors swept and mopped. Everything was put away, cupboards closed, and the security gate was closed and secured. Leave the space you were in the same clean and organized state as you would like others to leave it for you. Make others' lives easier, and your life will be easier. Don't leave things half done. It will bite you, and others will suffer because of your tardiness. Don't think of daily tasks as tasks. Think of them as gratitude projects. You show your gratitude and love for others by making their lives better and easier. Show your gratitude by going the extra mile for yourself and others. Any comments? Brendan?
Yeah, like for example, you talk about the get it done and get it finished. This morning I woke up, I really did not feel like doing that driveway of ours because of not feeling well. And then I talked myself into doing it due to the fact that if I don't do it now, I have to do it next weekend. Now I don't have to worry next weekend. I don't have to worry for another 2 weeks. So it's great. And it's done properly as well. So it feels good.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome, Brendan. And of course, I feel better. The landlord is like, yay, look, they're cleaning they're doing what they say they're going to do. Just everything just like worked out magically because, and then we had guests come into the house and come down our driveway and go into a house and they saw this like clean environment. So it all like makes a difference, I really appreciated the fact that you guys all got in this week and just did everything. Alex?
I agree. Do what you do well. And when you stand back and look at what you've done, you should feel a sense of accomplishment. If you're not feeling that sense of accomplishment, then you more than likely have not done a good job. You've done a half-hearted job just to get it done and then push it out of the way, tick that tick box. But if you're standing back and saying, hey, that actually looks good, or, I feel good about what I've done, then it's a sense of accomplishment and you've done what you've done well.
Yeah, I see that when you cook meals and afterwards you're like, oh, wow, they turned out so nicely, and you take a photograph of it and you send it to your mom or whatever. It's like, that's that sense of like, I achieved something, and that's awesome. It's like Why not make yourself feel better with the things you do well? I just love that. I love that comment. So the next one is, be fully focused on what you're doing in the moment. When you're chopping vegetables, focus on chopping vegetables, like meditation. Just be in the moment and just do it, and focus on how you hold your knuckles against the blade of the knife so that you don't chop your fingers off. When you're chopping vegetables, focus on chopping vegetables. When you drive, focus on driving. And if you're not able to focus, stop doing what you're doing until you can focus. Give it to somebody else. Accidents happen when you're not fully paying attention. If your ability to do something is impaired, whether it's like taking medication or whatever, rather let somebody else do it. If you're not fully in control of your senses, attention, focus, and psychomotor skills is dangerous. If accidents happen, don't worry about the things you cannot change, especially what has happened is in the past. So focus on the now and do your best with the situation you are currently in. Anyone commenting on that?
Just carry on while you can.
So spend time maintaining and fixing stuff as well. Go that extra mile. Regularly allocate time and attention to fixing stuff, cleaning, organizing, so things run smoothly. Like organizing, filing, backing up, updating, and cleaning up your computer, organizing your life, your thoughts, your office, your home, your bedroom. Pick everything up and put it in its place. Sweep and mop the floors, clean the mats and put them back in their place. Take off your shoes at the door. The housekeeping of life is a whole subject within itself. Just remember, living in a clean, organized, and healthy environment leads to your happy and healthy state of mind and consciousness. It makes it easier to focus on what you're trying to achieve without distractions. Tidiness helps you get things done in less time with less effort, giving you more time and energy for what you want to achieve. Any comment there?
No comment.
What you expect the world to be, it will be. Now, this is like we are creators of our world around us. So what you expect the world to be, it will be. What you expect others' behavior to be, they generally will provide that behavior for you. Your expectations have the power to bring them into being. Expect the best of others, and they will more than likely be that for you. Treat someone lovingly and with a bright, shiny energy, and you will naturally lighten their day and raise them up to the best of their self towards you. That's that smiling concept and the good morning with good energy. And then the concept of you have to give love to get love. I was at some concert up in South Carolina or whatever, and that was something that Ziggy Marley sang. You have to give love to get love. So being loving and kind and being the best person you can be will result in you receiving that. Life is a series of experiences, opportunities, challenges, tasks, goals, achievements, with the purpose to achieve your vision of a better future. Life is also a series of choices to achieve alignment, love, balance, and harmony with that flow of life and Mother Nature. Then sustainability is about only taking what you need and constantly giving back to create that better future for all life. The Bushman taking a certain amount of a medicinal plant and then planting the rest back again so that they are ensured of that future plant survival. Life itself is about becoming responsible and improving your energy tone. That's so important. You have the ability to choose your opportunities and construct the structure of your life's experiences and create an amazing future or not. What do you choose? Anybody?
Or I choose to better myself however I can.
Yeah.
I choose to be a positive light for everyone around me as much as humanly possible. I mean, we all have our bad days. But I mean, when we go out to try and sing in the car, just try and lighten the mood. When I cook, I try and make it a happy occasion, happy family occasion, and try and get everybody involved. When I'm out with people, I just try and give them good energy and try and be a positive force for them. I think it's positive energy is just so important, and that whole, you give love to get love. I don't want to get love per se, but definitely want to give it. And I want everyone I know and meet to know that they are special and they are loved, because that's what this is all about. Love is what makes the world go round. And if we're not giving love, then the world doesn't turn.
I agree. It's like I love singing, and I love that energy that like everyone can be like in maybe the worst mood ever and you start singing and boom, everyone is like, yay, let's sing along. And it's just the magic that you bring to life or bring into the room with your smile or your hello, how are you, like paying attention to somebody. It's like giving love, and it just like it shines for everyone in the room. It's so powerful. It's like the power that drives the magic of life. Absolutely love that, Alex and Brendan. I spent most of my life choosing the opportunity to learn and grow. When I stopped learning, I changed direction. So I studied like marine engineering until I reached a point where I wasn't studying and growing that much anymore, and bam, I changed and I did electrical sales, and then I learned that. And when I reached a point where I wasn't growing anymore, I went and became a teacher, studied and part-time while I was teaching, and when I stopped learning in that area, I moved on. And it's like, I think life is like this series of challenges, and if you keep on challenging yourself and growing, and when you reach that point where you're confident that you know what you're doing in that area, changing direction turns you into that Renaissance man or woman. And I was just noticing that, Alex, you just had that experience with in the hospital, and how you're like, oh my gosh, this is the opportunity to teach people what I know now about what I've just experienced. And I think that's like those are the moments of change, which are the magical ones. So I always chose informative books, encyclopedias, serious books over novels. Although I read a lot of all sorts of books and a lot of novels, always fulfilling my need to learn and grow, I chose to be serious above trying just to be funny. Although I did always see the funny side of language, I was always seeking different ways of seeing things and thinking about them, which is just like one of my default settings. I always focused on being the good energy as much as I possibly could, until there's a point at which you say, okay, enough's enough. And when practicing something, always pushing the limits of what I could do more and better. So when I chose movies, I chose thought-provoking movies over just drama and propaganda and, cop movies, because that to me is just propaganda. I watched a lot of thought-provoking documentaries, and always pushing the boundaries of the leading edge of thought and thinking is where the magic happens. Always critically thinking about what has been said, always evaluating and looking for the theme, the knowledge, the premises underlying, or even the underlying agenda of why somebody put something a certain way or said something a certain way, always looking for that wisdom within the stories. Why did they say that, and what were they trying to achieve by saying or presenting it in that way, emotionally, or whatever they put in? Always be an active thinker, not a passive sponge of propaganda and mind control. Anyone? Brendan?
Nothing from our side.
Alex?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So your life and consciousness are affected by what you're focusing on. You're constantly focusing on consciously connecting, sensing, experiencing, feeling, emotions, thinking, choosing, thoughtfully, responsibly, with love, empathy, and consideration. You're focusing on what you want to become and then practicing and becoming that. As a result of this, you're naturally creating the world you wish to live in around you. Living your life for an informed and awakened state of awareness of the truth and nature's natural wisdom. You're aware of the past lessons, successes, failures, and can see the destructive trends that need to be changed. If you're like living in that awakened state, it's like, oh my gosh, that's what happened, and this is why it happened, and this is what we need to do to change it. While you're focused on your perceived present, focused on doing and being in the now, you're focused on creating a better future by planting the seeds, nurturing and creating a sustainable world now to grow that future. Never lose your dedication to making a difference in the world. It's like, that's my fundamental life's purpose. I choose to make a difference in this world while I have this amazing opportunity of life. Enhancing your consciousness, you're constantly checking in and focusing on your body, mind. Practicing yoga will improve your internal awareness and consciousness. Always focusing in to the tippy top of your toe and then moving it sideways and this way and that way, and your foot and the angle of your legs and whatever. That's like the internal consciousness. Practice focusing internally on your present living, moving, changing body and sustaining your bodily needs and balances. Like you were saying, Brendan, oh, I feel so much better that I just had something to eat. It's like you cannot lose like your awareness of your internal needs. Informed through your senses, you're feeling hungry, thirsty, interpreting that well and consuming the best and most healthy raw natural foods and water that your body needs, instead of like, oh, I'm hungry, and then you just eat a whole lot of sugar or drink a whole lot of sugar or sweets. Instead, you pick up a fruit or banana and you eat that, because that's really what your body needs. For your best life, you must be constantly maintaining your healthy body and healthy balances and healthy mind, realizing that a healthy body and a healthy mind is essential to your state of well-being and states of consciousness. Practice listening to your bodily consciousness and practice controlling your breathing to regulate your state of mind and just your bodily state, and to regulate anxiety. It's like when you're super stressed out, breathe long, slow, deep breaths, and your stress levels and states of consciousness will improve. So breathing and meditating and slowing yourself down and calming yourself are all like these fine arts of living your life. Then for that psychomotor control and to improve your relationship with your body and your life, practice moving and playing and focusing on living consciously, catching the ball, throwing the ball with control, walking, talking, running, cycling, singing, dancing, writing, recognizing the importance of healthy play or ludic behavior, as the psychologist might put it. These activities improve your state of mind, your body health, your strength, and of course, your energy tone. When you've like been surfing for hours and you get out of the water and you just like are blissful and totally happy and totally content, that's to me like one of the magic states of being. Anyone want to comment? Alex?
The medication I'm on, I'm really struggling to keep thoughts in my head. But I do agree on, the states of consciousness and being, one in the moment, and being, sort of just being on the beach right now, the surfboard in hand and walking out the water and feeling that bliss. I'm there with you.
That's awesome. To me, that's like the ultimate state of being, when like everyone feels like that at the same time, because you've all been surfing together and had so much fun together. Oh, that is just like, yeah. So now another one. The more hills you climb, the stronger your body and your mind. Do today what will create your chosen tomorrow and prepare you for what might sort of just randomly come at you in life. So being healthy and fit and in a good state of mind and all those things are critical to being able to deal with whatever life throws at you. Then focusing on rhythmic, meditative states of consciousness while walking. To me, walking is meditation. Swimming, long distance swimming is meditation. Running long distance is like being like conscious of little initial aches and pains of your body, and then feeling the rhythm and the pleasure of running, and then riding a bicycle. To me, that is like, it's quite a euphoric feeling. And I love like that, like really pedaling hard and being like right on the edge of giving the maximum burn and whatever that is comfortable in your body, and you feel great. To me, that is absolute magic. And receiving what happens in those meditative states, the walking, the swimming, the running, and the cycling. I tend to get into this meditative state where I begin receiving insights and wisdom. Allow yourself to be open-minded and free-thinking and creative, and being willing to receive these intuitive insights and allowing them to flow through you. But then, of course, always remember to carry a notepad or some recording device with you, so you can bring those received insights into the world and make them physical. And don't let them pass you by, because if you don't write them down immediately, and even then transcribe them as soon as possible when you get home, you'll tend to forget them and lose them in the flow. They will pass you by. And share them with as many. That's another really important thing. If you share them with others as soon as possible and bring them into human awareness and conscious thought, sharing is your responsibility. Forget about ownership, like, oh, this amazing thing, I can go and make money out of this, and I can, register this as my copyright. It's like, forget about that. We're not here for ourselves alone. We're here for human consciousness, the greater human consciousness to rise. So forget about ownership. Think only that if you raise others up around you, you raise the consciousness of the greater world around you and create greater human consciousness. We're all in this together for the better of all life on Mother Earth. Give and you will receive in some way, no matter how indirect. Trust that by improving others' lives, you improve your own life. Any comment?
Yeah, I think I had one of those moments recently while, in hospital, where I had these strange of thoughts, and and almost like a door opened for me. I could almost feel it opening for me, saying, "Wow, why don't you just do this?" So in that moment, I got up, I went to the reception. Actually, I didn't. I pulled out one of those medical papers out of the tube of medicine that I'd been given. And it just so happened that the back page was blank. And I just started writing on it. And as soon as I got to the end of the page, I'm like, I need more paper. So I got up, I went to reception and I asked them for more paper. And 5 pages later, I had formulated somewhat in my mind the information that I had received and needed to be aware of and needed to focus on, put it on paper, and really brought it to light so that I could work on it and process it from there. So I think it's very important when you have these aha moments, write them down. I know that I've had a few aha moments where I have not had the inclination to write it down, or knew that I needed to and didn't, and lost that moment and that information that I could have shared with the world from there. And that's truly regrettable.
Yeah. Life's lessons are like these magical experiences. And, quite often a really important lesson there is being in hospital and everything. I know the pain and suffering you've been going through and all that, but it really gave you a moment to slow down and to look at life from a different angle and to listen and to feel and to learn from that experience. And it's wonderful to see that you did, to take the time to write it down and record. You see, writing it down and recording it might not benefit you, or you can use it like to change the direction of your life, which is, is also acceptable. When you record something, it's like this, the teacher within you who is saving what you've learned so that you can improve the lives of others. So you can see it as a way of improving your life, but you can have this altruistic perspective of, I always write things down so that I can give them as a gift to others so that they have a better future. So sometimes you're like, oh, I've thought of that, but, and I've written it down before, but whatever. But like, just maybe this time, the way you've experienced it and seen it is different. And it might just be the way that somebody else is ready to receive it. So yeah, love that. Any other comments, Alex? Brendan?
No,
Yeah, I agree with what you and Alex have said right now. Life has funny ways of showing you the direction in which you have to go in order to better yourself. And it's worth listening to the universe around you. It's worth taking the directions on which are given to you, because even if that direction fails, you have learned a new lesson. Even if that direction leads you in the right path, you have still learned a new lesson. So either way, it's a win-win situation.
I agree with that. That's awesome. So let me just, I don't know how many more. I've got quite a few, and we're running low on time. So
just go through them.
what's that? Oh yeah, we started late, eh?
But it doesn't matter. If we're an hour and 15 minutes, so be it.
Okay. Focusing on your perceived, remembered, and emotional past, your impending future, and choosing new ways of perceiving and responding to similar experiences. Don't mourn the past suffering and a dire future. Learn from the trends that have happened and are more than likely going to happen, and do now what you can to create the future you want. Next one is, then focusing on your internal conversation is like critically important. Your self-talk can either make your life or destroy your life. Remember the story of the Cherokee Indian boy and his grandfather of the two wolves, and living your life only feeding the good wolf as your fundamental default in life. So let those negative thoughts pass by, and then only focus on those good and positive and creative thoughts that will create the future you want. It's like the critical lesson there. Remember that every experience, journey, and story has its own underlying lesson or wisdom for you to learn. When you have recovered from that experience, because it's often emotional and very hard for you to think about it then, think back and find that lesson. That is the guiding lesson that is essential for you to learn and grow and change. Now, you find that a lot of people who don't take responsibility for their lives and don't live like the best life that they can and maybe drink or whatever, they miss that lesson and they don't mature. So all those lessons pass them by, and then it might take many lifetimes for them to mature to the state where they are willing to face what that lesson is and live and learn from it and grow from it. Then life will let you move on to the next lesson, or you will become stuck having to repeatedly learn that lesson again and again and again and never grow, never learning, growing, and maturing. Focusing in on feeling and sensing is like you bring your awareness into living your life. Focusing on the internal and intuitive transmission or reception of channeling and communicating with and to the non-physical, communicating consciously with the natural and universal consciousness, connecting with the unconscious, collective unconscious, or the universal consciousness that's available to us. Then regularly focusing on becoming tuned in and turned on and channeling for yourself or as a medium or receiver of insights and information for others. That often happens when somebody's loved ones have passed on and they are battling to connect with the person who's passed on. And if you practice it enough, it becomes just something that you do, and you receive exactly what they need to hear from the person who's passed on. So regularly connecting and talking to your guides, your ancestors, and I refer to them as interveners, people, consciousnesses that will like realize that you're in trouble and intervene in your life. That very seldom happens because like we are the masters of our own consciousness, and we don't often let anybody else enter our consciousness and affect the way we think and live our lives, because we are focusing on mastering our consciousness. So every now and then you will have interveners who like break through into your consciousness, and it's like, hey, listen to this, otherwise you're going to be harmed. So regularly connecting and talking to your guides, ancestors, and interveners in your life, or the wisdom keepers and speakers and the communicators of the universe and nature, there is this incredible wisdom that's available to you if you practice this art of becoming more consciously connected. Then enhancing your ability to speak with and get answers from the universe is like, and from plants and nature around you. These are like the skills that are fully available to all humans, and ancient cultures used to rely on for their survival. Prepare what you're going to ask for the night before. Ask and you will receive. And in the morning, like what you needed to find out and know will generally just be like bam, clear and concise, and you'll be, oh my gosh, that's what it is. Accessing the knowledge, skills, and wisdom that is out there instantaneously without limitations of time and space because of the concept of action at a distance, consciously connecting and being one with the whole connected conscious universe at will. You can be one breath away. You can choose to practice it and become it. It's like, sometimes it takes people like a whole like meditation practice to get to a calm state of mind, to be able to receive those aha moments. When you practice it enough, you can reach this state of consciousness where you take one breath in and one breath out, and you literally drop into that state of consciousness where you start receiving. Bam. It's exactly where you need to be, that state of being. It's a practiced art form. Anybody?
I definitely believe you need to be connected and be in a safe, loved environment before you're able to even try and connect on that level. It's important to, I know when I tried to stop smoking the first time, I didn't feel safe. I was insecure. I wasn't sure of myself. I wasn't sure of my environment. My environment was very moody, emotional. The people in my life were moody and emotional. And just everything just seemed to be an uphill battle at that point. So my attempt to stop smoking failed the first time due to the fact that I wasn't in that place. But, I found a time in my life where I was in that place. So I took that opportunity and quit smoking during that time. And I found it a lot easier. I mean, quitting smoking is not easy at all. And I don't recommend it for everyone. But being in that place is crucial. So when you're trying to connect with the universe and download and upload information, you need to be calm, collected. You can't be worrying about house money stress and car stress and kid stress and basic household stress when you're trying to reach that place of connection. You've got to be in a calm, connected state.
I agree. Brennan?
Yeah, it's the same with, for example, finding a job or opening up your own company or whatever. It's like you can't really focus on what you're doing if you're in a negative place. The key is to basically throw all the negativity out of your life by either getting rid of it, by moving the negative people out, or moving away from negativity. Say like you're living in a house that's full of negative people, you either, if it's your house, get rid of them. If it's their place, you move out and find a place on your own. I mean, I was basically living on the streets, not necessarily on the streets, but in a one bedroom shack in my aunt's yard with my father because we had to get away from negativity. And we ended up growing from there, because positive life thrives on positivity in the atmosphere and universe around you. So if you have negativity around you whatsoever, your life will not thrive positively due to the fact that you have that negativity holding you down all the time. Now, if you get rid of that negativity, you'll see yourself thrive, not in terms of wealth or money, or maybe it could be, but that's not thriving. I mean, you'll have a better life in terms of health, fitness, and getting up and doing something about your life.
Yeah, I love all those ideas. All of them.
That's so well put, Brennan. That I was speaking to this woman, and she seemed to have all these negative things going on in her life. And I said to her, okay, well, how are you going to solve them? What are you going to do about them? It's, it's all good, just having a release of emotions and basically stating how things are. What's it called?
Downloading.
Yeah, I mean,
Dump,
yeah,
an emotional
yeah.
dump on somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all good. But at the end of it, it's like, okay, do you feel better? Yeah, I do. Okay, now what are you going to do about it? Let's focus on each of these aspects. So you've got a husband that does this, that, and the next thing. Are these things that you can live with, or are these things that need to change? If they need to change, then you guys need to work on it together. That's what a relationship about: communicating, talking, and compromising. If you're not willing to live with these things anymore, then you need to get out of that relationship and you need to move on with your life. You can't be holding on to damaging baggage your entire life. And I don't just mean just her husband or anything like that. It could have been any of the aspects that she brought up. It's a case of what are your issues and what are you willing to work on? What are you not willing to work on? The stuff that you're not willing to work on, get rid of them. And Brendan, so well put. That's exactly that. You need to take a step back. If you're living in a 5-bedroom home with maid and with all your animals but to get out of the situation, you need to live in a shack for a few months or a year. So be it. Get yourself back on track. Get yourself into a place of positivity, because money does not bring you happiness. You can live in a shack, live in a cardboard box, and be super happy. And you can live in a mansion and be super unhappy. What do you choose?
I love the concept. I have this yellow T-shirt that's like really falling apart, but I love it, and I sleep with it almost every other night, and it says simplify. And they say a happy traveler travels light. So, all of this whole thing about the housekeeping of life and all this, many of those things are saying simplify, like just like reduce your life down. You've got emotional baggage and problems and whatever. Simplify. It's just like get rid of that which is harming you and take that which enhances your life and the people who are making your life better. Choose people around you who are that positivity and are the inspiration and are the love and are the magic, and travel with those people. I mean, why not? I absolutely love all those comments that you guys, I don't know. I've been going on and on and on, but what you guys just said in the last few minutes is just magic. So wonderful. Well done. We're going to call it the end of I think this is basically an hour now because of all of the delays we had in the beginning. So it's perfect. So like, comment, share on the videos so that these videos spread so others gain the benefit of this downloaded wisdom that is like I've accumulated throughout my life of experiences. It's basically the magic in every story is these lessons basically, which I'm putting out there, and they will continue in this direction next week. So thank you, everyone. It's wonderful. Thank you for your help and effort in creating this magical lesson moment. Okay, bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. And thank you, everybody who is watching this video. And see you later.
All right. If I don't see you to the week, I'll see you to the Zoom window. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.